nice.
It's just black and white though, it's not
Broke
that
it down,
fancy.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Tony Biancardi,
Here.
Jim Constantine,
Here.
Larry Fabina is absent, Wilbur Odman.
Here.
Daniel Marsh.
Here.
All right, we have approval of our January 19, 2022 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. All right, do we have any correspondence tonight, Corinne?
We do not.
Okay. Bill, anything that you want to highlight from your report?
Not on my report.
Okay. Larry is not here. Wastewater treatment bill, do you want to update the board on our most recent meeting about
Sure.
putting?
So we have been meeting with the plants, and I think we could all say that we feel pretty confident about moving forward with coming up with a solution to be able to haul our cleanings out to the plant. So we got a couple more meetings. We're gonna talk to the contractors that will be working with us as far as hauling the material. And then after that, we're working to kind of see what the best practices will be to get that material into the plant without doing damage or harm to our plant on chemical side as well as mechanical side of the plant. So we'll be meeting again next month for that.
And Bill, the two things I remember that they're most concerned with what's coming is grease.
Yeah,
And-
solid grease.
The solid grease, and was there something else or no?
And the silt, the bottom silt.
Okay, alright.
So basically the solids of
Right.
injecting those straight into our system without anything to catch that or break that up.
Right, so we're not set up at the plant to necessarily do that, but I do feel like they're spending a lot of time investigating and trying to come up with a plan for us to be able to do that. I can appreciate the time it's taking because of the IDEM permit and, we don't wanna cause
We've
any.
shared a lot of material, like they've been out to each lift station with me. We've done measurements, we're gonna be doing some sampling.
Yeah.
So there, like Tony said, there's a lot of investment in this already, so a lot of teamwork.
Well, yeah, and they've commented how impressed they are with our system and, how we've maintained it and what we're doing currently. And before Bill got on the call, Tom Macier shared with me that I feel like it was IDEM that had come out to the plant because we had gotten some violations and we had to come up with a like a remediation plan out there. And they said the plant today looks better than it has ever looked. So they were really impressed. So I think a lot of that speaks to Larry, who sits on the board, who I appreciate connecting us with the right people and just that open dialogue, working together. So I think that's been a great addition to the board. But we meet again the 11th, I think, of March. And I feel like at that point, we're gonna maybe have a solid plan because it'll be time to clean soon.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but
Just so I have something to add.
yeah,
Being from that organization, when Cleveland Cliffs took it over, in that acquisition, they must not have had to pick up any legacy costs because they spent tons of money on that plant, not only, I'm sure, in our arena, but all throughout the plant. And they're making profits now that they haven't seen maybe forever.
Mhm.
So that, I'm sure they spent money on the sanitary part of it to
Mhm.
make some of this more possible too.
yeah. Yeah, some of the remediation plan, and that's not the right word for it, but that we we worked through involved some additional equipment, for lack of a better way to say it, and things to be happening out there that I know probably was fairly costly, so. But I'm glad for all of that.
It's
so.
good, because it's common sense and it's what should be done. It's probably been done for years.
Mhm.
It's good that we're working through it and getting it done again.
Mhm, yeah, and Bill now has a good working relationship with the operator out there, and I don't think we've ever really had that, so.
Yeah, this is the best. defense.
I know, which is great for our side
Bill's
because
pretty hard to work with.
I know he is, yeah. I know, he's pretty demanding. All right, Jeanette, do you have anything?
No report.
Okay, we will move on to old business. The first thing is 293 Riverside Drive sewer connection. So we left last month, and the decision was to request of the contractors that did bids to separate those out so that there were two quotes, one that would be for the town and one that would be for the homeowner. And I'll let Jeanette report, but we've received, go ahead.
So I reached out to what I thought was the three, which was H&G, Woodruff, and RV Sutton, because I know they've, looked at the project in the past. So H&G and Woodruff have not, I sent them new proposal forms splitting the project into two different owners. I have not received them back from H&G and Woodruff. However, I did get one from RV Sutton. So I would recommend giving the other two some more time to get theirs back in so that, you can really evaluate and discuss with the homeowner, which contract you want to do.
Has there been a follow-up phone call or anything with the
Yes.
contractors?
Yes.
Are they stated what the holdup is?
No, I think in part, I know I did speak with one of them and they said that they've got, a lot on their plate right now and was just trying to get the time to get to it, so.
How long would you propose we wait?
Well, I would think that by next meeting,
Yeah, I kind of feel like by the next meeting, that should be adequate time.
yes,
If you would though, make a note to follow up maybe in the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
So that we can have that in advance and we can continue the discussion for this,
Okay.
but. Yeah, so until we have that, I think
On hold.
we'll put it on hold and
Only question I've got, attorney in here to answer it.
he's online.
Okay, are we gonna have a written agreement that after the initial install, that the town will not be responsible for anything from the tap on to the home after this is done?
I'm not sure if it would be necessarily a written agreement. It might be the meeting minutes. I think that we can certainly discuss that and have that be a part of it, but my understanding from all of the meetings that Mr. Jordan has attended, that was part of the understanding between him and the sanitation board, the town.
But what I would be concerned with is down the road, 10 years, 15 years down the road, they sell their property. Now you don't have anything in black and white other than minutes that are 10 years old.
But those are, the official record and
Yeah,
that's what we refer to often in council and anything else, so. I understand what you're saying.
Because we're talking basically a complete lift station. By the time you get done putting that in, you got the control box and everything else. And we've already seen what it's costing us to update our lift stations on a regular basis. And if Lightning gets it, it's not an expense. And I just would like to see something in writing.
Okay.
I mean, I can certainly create a document that would be, a memorandum of understanding. But again, it's not like a recorded document that runs with the land that a potential buyer would be on notice for. It would have to be, minutes that they would have to go dig for. I mean, unless we get an agreement and record it down at the recorder's office, it's not a public record for anyone to go.
That's what I was wondering, to be on public record, because If you have an easement, the landowners knows it, the deed and title know it. If there's an
Yeah.
easement, it has to be out where everybody knows it, but if you have a verbal agreement,
So,
10 years down the road,
but that's the thing, even a written agreement, unless it's recorded with the county, it's not, I mean, it is, the minutes are of record and it's a public document that someone could make a public records request and locate with the town if they know where to look. But what you're talking about, Jim, is, you know, like an easement, if the town had an easement on this property to do work or whatever, that would have to be of record with the county. But unless you know that you need to go look in at town hall, a future buyer of that property isn't gonna know where to look and what to ask for.
well, that's what I'm concerned with, is if a future buyer of the property, how would he know that there's an agreement that if that sewer system goes bad, he has to pay for it?
Because the seller is responsible to tell them.
Yeah.
The other thing
Yeah.
too, I think, Jim, is that if the future owner has issue with it, he's gonna bring it to this board. And this board would go to these minutes records and tell them it's not our responsibility, it's yours.
Okay, I just try to
But
protect.
I
Yeah.
know your concern, but I think, the
Yeah.
lawyer told us that we're covered.
Okay, as long as we're protecting the board.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully if you'll follow up in a couple
Yes.
weeks and either nudge them or have something, that would be great, so we can have all three for our next meeting. Future infrastructure is just gonna remain on here. Bill, has anything come up that,
No, the only thing we'd be watching right now, is anything that would possibly go further, like we said, down Old Porter Road at this point. And then we do have one resident that he's been talking about, he actually has pulled a permit, on, yep, right there, Boo Road, that is looking to extend, but that's all gonna be his responsibility to the main, so.
what about your pumps?
Pumps, we got the 6, they have came in, we brought them in and the flanges, were blank flanges, which they typically do. You gotta drill them out after you make sure you got the right flange. So they're in, the flanges were sent over yesterday to be drilled out, so then I have the pumps on the floor. As far as future replacement, at this point, I still have the spare one for number 3. And I may be looking at, a pump or 2 for, the smaller ones, lift station number 2 and lift station, 10 horsepower, sorry, lift station number 4. But right now, we still have pumps on the floor for those, so unless something catastrophic happens to a pump, that should be good.
The telemetry system's all up to snuff.
So it's up, they're having problems with it communicating, that's why if you look at the report, you'll see some 0 dates from number 1. And it's nothing to do with the telemetry, it's to do with the cellular towers. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, depending on the signal, like we all know how our cell phones work. So other than that, everything's working. It's just the communication, I told myself, we didn't pay this money to have it dropping out, we need to fix it. So we just put Sprint cards in there to see if it's better, so we're testing that, we took the Verizon one out.
But you know that does make a difference to the provider.
So we'll see if it works. So far, if you look at the report, the last 5 days, I believe it was, it's reporting, so I think that may have done the trick, but I don't wanna jinx myself.
Yeah, my present job with Amazon, I'm out delivering out in the country in the boondocks. Actually, Verizon works the best.
Well, and that's what's weird, so we, and that's what I told them, I says, I don't want to, because eventually after this year period, we take over the, just like we do the phone lines, the cellular, bill. As we talked about, well, I really don't want a couple of my lift stations on Sprint and a couple of them on Verizon. I want them all the same, so just for ease of tracking and things. So, but the problem is Verizon seems stronger up by Old Porter Road, but it's appearing that for number 2 and number 1, Sprint seems to be better over here. So it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
but
And it probably will change over time, too. Companies merge and
yeah, you can't win, you know,
they
so.
do system upgrades.
But, so right now, the last 2 days, I haven't had any more errors come up, so I think they may be figuring it out.
Is there any more, were you still looking at variable speed pumps for certain applications?
So we're watching that with number 2. What we're doing now is we're pumping them down manually to see it was actually suggested by Shim to do that. Or Jeanette, I can't remember which one, from their department. I think it was Shim and I having a conversation about the problem with that, and if we don't have enough flow at the variable speeds, you may actually be doing more harm than you are good, because we need that volume and the pump down times. So not pump down times, I used the wrong word, cycles. We're playing with that, and we're manually doing it right now. We set number 2 up so I can do that from my desktop. So I'm literally doing that every morning. So it seems to be, it's not hot out yet. It seems to be making a difference. It doesn't smell nearly as bad over there. But again, it's not warm and hot. Is it the weather, or is it what we're doing making a difference? So
Okay.
time will tell. So there's a lot going on there. We can probably sit here and talk about it all night on what's happening, but I'm hoping that we don't have to use variable speed pumps just because of all the other stuff that has to come into play with it. As far as the starter motors and switching a lot of stuff out that we don't want to do. Not with the telemetry, with the station side.
Right.
Under new business with our claims tonight, Bill, you got 2 POs here.
So the one, as you guys know, I always try to keep parts on the shelf. So we did an inventory of what we're missing from over time, and those are the parts that I'm missing for the lift stations. So I have.
Is that the 6 miscellaneous things?
Yes.
Is this your handwriting?
Yeah, my typewriter broke. I don't have one anymore.
No, I had
Sure.
somebody else around. Just kidding.
So
I teach those so I can read it.
I was doing them fast as today.
Okay,
I said, here, Karen, let me get these knocked out.
okay,
for
all
you.
right.
So she was busy and I didn't want to have her type, so. And then the other one is for
Calibration and sensor.
the gas meters,
Okay.
so. That's as you know, those meters, every time we gotta do that, the sensors are expensive, so. But, so, and that's usually a year, every couple of years, depending on how they are.
All right.
So that's it.
And then Jeanette, I have a question for you. On December 29th, what is stake center line and set witnesses? Do you know what that was for?
No.
Okay, it was six hours, 12:29, stake center line and set witnesses. I'm just curious.
I guess, I don't know. I would,
I know Shem's been in meetings, you guys have been tag
right, but
teaming.
that doesn't sound like a meeting thing. That's, what is that?
Oh, yeah, no, it could have been work.
No.
I mean, work that you've done. I
Right,
just
but
didn't know what it was
I can't-
associated
I
with.
can't think of what that's associated with for sanitary.
It's not a habit when they were trying to
Yeah.
mark the center easement, wasn't.
I wonder if that got put on the wrong bill. Does that say sanitary?
It says bill to sanitary, and then there's the 12/29, and then 12/7 to 12/27 was inspection of sewer manholes for a maintenance bond, so that makes sense. And then 12/13 to 12/29, the pump design, pump down test, design calculations, and the board meeting. But there's the 6 hours for a field crew.
I can't think of what that was,
Was
and
that the washout, has something to do with the washout, the pipe?
That one didn't have anything to do with staking that.
At the
was
very
just-
end of last year.
Yeah. I mean,
can you approve it contingent on checking that went to the right board?
Yeah,
Let
I
me
know,
find out what
I
it is.
What do you think, Corinne? Yeah,
Yeah,
and we could just fix it later.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So with the claims tonight, we've got the 2 POs, and then the global invoice, contingent on checking this 1229 line item. Because it was 6 hours at 185, so it was 1110
Mhm.
on that.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's field
Yeah.
crew, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, that, in the description is a field crew.
Yeah, I guess my question was just what was it related to?
Right.
That was what didn't make sense to me. All right, so anybody else have other questions? Sorry.
Tony, I have one thing, I don't know if you want to add to that, it was my mess up. That I realized, we booked our hotels to go. We did not, I don't know if it was me or them, but anyhow, we did not have a room for, Sunday night, going out for Monday. So I booked at a different hotel for me and Adam. So there's an additional fee to be added to that other purchase order. Actually, I have to do, actually, it's under a limit, but $477.36 for the 2 rooms.
So it's okay.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure you guys know,
Okay.
because it's additional charge, and I
Okay.
would like you guys, because I know Jane will want it in the minutes to be
Yeah.
paid for and reimbursed. I put it on my card, so as a whole, but I'll pay for it just like I will the other room on the town's credit card, as long as the board's okay with it.
Okay, so we'd be looking for a motion to approve the claims contingent on investigating that global invoice, the 2 purchase orders, and then if the board agrees, accepting the addition of the Sunday night hotel for their training.
I'll make a motion, how you word this.
Did you get it, Corinne?
Yeah, can you read me the purchase order numbers?
Sure, 2966
Okay,
and 2967.
thank you.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Any questions on our spending review, delinquencies, or flow report?
How are we doing on delinquencies?
Well, it's the beginning of the year.
A lot of them look pretty bad there, but I saw.
Corinne, when will our first water shut off be, or have we had one?
That was in January.
Okay.
The next cycle will be in March, so I'm gonna be sending out those notices here soon.
Okay,
Let me see
what's
where
your
we're at.
feel now that you've been with
So-
us for a little while, your feel on all that right now? Normal?
Well, so far, the start of this year, the delinquency percentage is starting out slightly lower than 2020 and significantly lower than 2021.
Okay,
So I mean, it's gone down. It's better. It's not great, but it's better.
And a lot of it is just within the first certain days, so it could be.
I just thought some of those people that were over 90 days would be trying to be playing catch up, but they're not even trying, are they?
well, I mean, in 90 days, we lean the property and we are now back to doing water shutoffs, so that's probably gonna be some motivation, there as well. So I think we'll catch,
Yeah, I did just lean a property yesterday, actually, so
Okay,
one of the 90 days has been leaned, but typically, when they get their water shut off warning, that will get taken care of, so.
yeah.
We should see a decrease next month.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have any good of the order of the community and any other business?
I would like to say I had a full truck over the week,
Get to use that new truck?
and I used the new boom with the new crane, and holy macro, it is a beautiful thing. So thank you, board. It made my life a lot easier.
Nice.
The lighting still needs to improve, which we got on order, just like everything else in the world. It's on back order. So once we get that, it does have a nice light on the boom, but still trying to get down in the pit is the secret, because your knuckles out here. But only the hydraulics and the rotating boom on that thing, a lot safer, it's amazing how much piece of equipment, the right piece of equipment makes the job a lot
Did we
easier.
put anything from sanitary in the surplus auction?
I got it to, because we got it off, we had a problem with it, they welded it on the plate, we didn't know that, so by the time we got the boom off, it was already
Okay.
publicized, so it's
Okay.
on the floor, and to stay there until we have another one, or
Yeah.
whatever. or if
Okay.
the town wants to do something later
Well,
on.
we
with
can
it.
even just do a sealed something for
Yeah.
one thing, right? We don't do a full auction.
Yeah.
Let's think about that.
Okay.
Maybe once the auction's over, put something out for that one.
Okay.
Great. Did anyone join us on the Zoom?
Nope, just Clay.
Just Clay. All right. No announcements really, except our next meeting is March 16th. Is that St. Patrick's Day?
17th.
Oh, Tony, oh my gosh.
I'm just asking, relax.
It's March 17th.
Okay.
He's offended you got that wrong.
Close enough. I'm gonna celebrate a day early.
Getting the corned beef ready. at that time.
Right. Okay,
Make a motion to end the meeting.
motion and second to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
All right.
An Irish one.